This podcast is produced by the Fireside Chat Club of Canada. Hello, and welcome to Canada as I See It. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. Today, we look at the rule of three, and here are three examples. 1, everyone always goes on 3. There are 3 Olympic medals, and you have to answer these questions 3 before you can cross the bridge of death. Yeah, that's a little dark. Last week, I began the podcast with an example of the rule of 3. I played the introduction 3 times. I briefly considered just rerunning the entire show this week with no explanation, and you may have wondered, but no, I actually already played that card, and it would kind of start to get a little meta, because, well, then I'd have to do it again next week. So, the rule of 3 is really just used to make a point. 1, whether it's for emphasis, Mayday, 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 just so you're sure that that's will be heard. 2, to prepare for something, like on your mark, get set, go. Or, my favorite reason, comedic effect. A priest, a minister, and a rabbi walk into a bar. Or Curly, Larry, and Moe. Or 3, right? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Yeah, you saw what I did there, right? Okay. The rule of 3. Build tension with the first and second stories, and release with the twist on story number 3. Today is February 9th, and it's 2 more days to go before my birthday and the month-long celebration. Those of you who do know me actually know that, yeah, I've stretched it into a month-long thing. It used to be a week, but nah, we'll make it a month. Each of you listening is welcome to invite me out to a celebratory drink or dinner. And if you'd like to, please contact me at asiseeit@warpole.ca. It was on this date in 1964 that the 9th Winter Olympic Games came to a close in Innsbruck, Austria. Brothers Vic and John Emery, with Douglas Anakin and Peter Kirby, took home Canada's only gold medal in 4-man bobsledding. And the quartet actually set a world record in their first run. Later that evening, on that same day, well, it's not so much a Canadian fact, but it was the night that the Beatles performed on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I think I told you the story last week. 2 days after that, I came into the world. So there you go. Today, I also want to talk about a comedian, Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey was born in 1962, not on this date, though. He was the man with the rubber face. I remember when he first started becoming big, I would think, wow, it's like this guy can just use his hands to mold his face into whoever he wanted, and his voice just follows. Well, he was the class clown, and a lot of that probably came from the fact that his family moved around a lot. They landed in Scarborough, Burlington, Lincoln, where he lived with his brother in a tent on the shore of Lake Ontario. They were all around southern Ontario, well, wherever the money was. When Jim was 10, he had developed his impression so well that he had written a letter to the Carol Burnett Show asking for a part on the program. Well, before leaving high school at 16, he would often rush to finish his in-class work so that he could, under arrangement with the teacher, do a 15-minute comedy set at the end of the class. While still in school, his father would actually drive him to downtown Toronto to appear at the newly opened Yuck Yucks Comedy Club. So, Jim definitely had the drive and the talent. It was just a matter of anyone taking notice of this young comedian. And as many discover, it really wasn't easy. His early act was often just a list of impressions, and people often booed him off stage. That's actually what happened with his first appearance in Yuck Yucks. He went in there and, didn't really make a good first impression. The one thing he did do, however, he was able to not only voice the character, but shape his face into that person. And it was a producer seeing a poster of Carrie as Sammy Davis Jr. that just seemed to be the one to who he realized that Jim could go places. By the time he was 21, he was really big, really, really big. That's an Ed Sullivan joke, because the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. Yeah, okay. So he often opened for Rodney Dangerfield. And he also had a few spots on television shows, including The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and another program called In Living Color. And it was that show that helped him project him to his first major movie role, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, in 1994. Although, actually, here's a sort of a one that you don't really hear about too often. If you want his first movie role, check out Peggy Sue Got Married 8 years earlier. That's the one with Nicolas Cage in it. Now, these days, it's really just mind-blowing that his career is in its 48th year. Part of the longevity is likely due to his ability to tackle dramatic roles as well. The Truman Show comes to mind. That's a story, the story of a man who's unaware that he is living his entire life on a colossal soundstage, and that it's being filmed and broadcast as a reality television show. That one's just incredible to watch. Another one in a similar vein is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now, that's a movie based on the theory of the butterfly effect, where a small change at one point in your life can have a much larger effect in the future. Now, this isn't to be confused with the movie actually called The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. I quite like it, but you really do have to be in a certain mood to watch either of those movies. Jim's list of awards and nominations actually have their own Wikipedia page, so I'm going to leave you to check them out if you're interested. For now, Jim, he voices things here and there, but he has taken to drawing and painting. Not what we've really come to expect from him, but as time goes by, we've realized that it does show that this guy just seems to be full of all sorts of talent. If you would like to introduce the podcast for me, I did it today because, well, this is the beginning of my birthday month, so my show, and I want to do that. So I did it today, but if you would like to do it in the future, please send me a recording of you saying, "This podcast is produced by the Fireside Chat Club of Canada." And you can email that to me it's the same address as before if you want to take me out for a drink or dinner or something. As I see it at warpole.ca, and that's WHORPOLE.ca. Another thing, actually, and I've been working on it for a couple of months now, I have spoken about my family's websites. There was the Mifflin one, there is the Mifflin one, mifflin.ca, mifflin.ca, and there's actually a link now to the family tree. And you can have a look at it if you're not registered with it. But if you are part of the Mifflin family and would like to register and help me update that, I would greatly appreciate that. And then there's also my own site, warpole.ca site, which is where I got the emails from. And I've actually, I'm this close to adding the Warpole family tree to that page. And granted, it's not as extensive as the Mifflin one, but it's something that I hope I can build on and have it for the kids and the grandkids in the future. Thank you for listening to me ramble, everyone, this week. We'll talk to you again next week. And that's a part of Canada as I see it. It is written and produced by me, James Warpole, and brought to life by the Fireside Chat Club of Canada. Our theme song is Night Owls by Braden Deal. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at asiseeit@warpole.ca. Join us every Sunday for another episode of Canada as I See It.